Okay, welcome back to Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagaro, Anime Review, episode number 5. Yep, episode 5. Yes, this is definitely the 5th episode. This is definitely the 5th anime review. This one is called You Seem Pretty Stiff, Senpai, and of course the other story is I'll Do It For You, Senpai. Now, the first two parts here for this episode is come from chapter 30 of the manga and bonus story number 8. Yeah, that one picks up right where that chapter left off. Basically fills the gap between 30 and 31. Though if I read online, apparently this chapter originally is chapter 28, and they kind of basically collect it in the volume 4 as volume 30. Now, in the case of the whole thing, You Seem Stiff, the title itself comes from the bonus story, but the actual title of the actual story that this first part of this episode comes from is I Saw You, Senpai. Yeah, where Nagaro sees the Senpai, where he's run really terribly, so she decides to basically teach him how to run. Yep, run. And he pretty much sucks at it. Excuse me, he had to run 5 kilometers, and the only way for get him to complete this halfway through, he basically was like exhausted, and the game pushed forward, kept calling out maggot, and then eventually, well, then he just passed the bench and then they decided to do stretches. I would have done the stretches before start running because I could explain why it's so stiff. And then of course you actually have her pulling him to stretch him out. And then of course Sakura shows up. I think it's supposed to be Sakura. Yeah, I think it's Sakura, right? No, it's Yoshi. Yeah, Yoshi shows up. And you know what she says? Fusion! Oh, that is so funny. And of course, then you have the classic DBZ fusion pose with the whole pointy finger thing. We have that, and then we have sort of the fusion of Nagaro and Yoshi. I thought that was so hilarious. And then comes something quite interesting. Now, for the rest of the episode, now that first part took up the first, I'd say I think about the first, basically the first half of the episode. I'd say around the first 10 minutes this one took up. Now, the rest of the episode is quite interesting because, you see, starting with chapter 36, it begins a story arc. Yes, the series has a story arc. From what I can tell, I think this is the only one, though there's a recurring plot thread about Nagra having a thing for the Senpai. So, yeah, this one basically, this rest of this episode comes from chapters 36 to 38. Now, the arc itself starts with chapter 38 and doesn't end until chapter 46. You can call this arc simply the fate of the Arc Club room, where basically at first we have Nagra and her friends.
Come out right now and say goodbye.
Okay. Okay then. Give me a minute. My apologies about that. My niece was going home, so I had to basically say goodbye to her. Okay, now continuing to talk about basically this episode. Yeah, pretty much you have the senpai just drawing, like usual. And then Nago shows up, basically overhearing the fact he needs a model. And she says, I'll volunteer the model. And, okay, we're going to draw a guy, but basically, she eventually finds a drawing of her in the cat costume from a couple episodes back. And he says, okay, you want a model? Fine. Make that costume. Like, okay, so she goes to the Needle Club. Yes, the Needle Club. To make this costume. And wow. It looks really good. Then he does it, and I think he completes it pretty quickly, too. And they chat for a bit, and then he hears big footsteps coming up. He's like, oh crap, I know exactly who it is. Because there's flashbacks to her, and it's the president of the club. A woman who's not been active for some time in the actual thing, because, well, she moved on to be a third year for the group. So, he hides the girls in the room, and she's here basically to check up on him, and to basically discuss some rumors that this place is some nasty individuals. And, well, then basically after threatening to shut down the club, then of course, Nago comes out of the room she was hiding in with the girls, and basically, of course, Senpai explains to her she's just the first year who's modeling for me. And she says, okay, I will shut the club on the condition you make an exhibit separate from the club. You beat me in the competition, then we'll keep I will not shut down the club. Okay. And of course, well, she does this after Nagaro stands up for him, saying that he's very kind. He draws very well. So she agrees to basically she agrees to the contest, and that's the episode. I would not be surprised though if this particular arc basically encompasses the last 2 episodes of the series. Yes, and if there's gonna be a season 2, my guess is I probably have to wait a full year for it. Yep. But this is not bad of an episode. I like the fact we finally get to extend the storyline. But if you want to think of basically like how much of the manga they've adapted at this point, I'd say definitely a good chunk of it per se. Like at this point, you probably think, oh, they adapted the first like 38 chapters. Not really, no. There's actually like chapter 13 has never been adapted as far as I can tell. Actually, I think it has. Yeah, I think 13 was adapted. Just don't know what episode it was, but I think it was that because I remember seeing it. Yep, because remember this one was adapted for an episode. I have to take a look because I think it was. Because I could have sworn they adapted this like not too long ago. Got the whole thing with clipping his ear. Because I know this was adapted for an episode just happened because I remember seeing it. Yeah, I'm sorry, basically I might take a bit to find out. I probably had to find out about it later because I'm not finding it because I could have sworn this was the I probably look up later to see exactly what episode it's adapted for. Yep, but yeah, that's it particularly for this particular review. Stay tuned for my review for Case Closed, and in case you're asking what I get to doing True Love of Darkness tonight, probably not. I'm thinking I'm going to basically watch some Doctor Who because I got another Doctor Who in today. So I'm probably going to start maybe tomorrow, and I'm hoping for that, okay? See you next video. Bye.